Wrestling superstar Chris Benoit strangled his wife and smothered his son over a 3-day period before hanging himself with weightlifting equipment, according to police. Mr. Benoit had sometime, possibly Friday, murdered his wife by asphyxiation. Sometime shortly after that, the same for his son Daniel. And sometime later committed suicide by hanging himself in the basement area. Even more shocking than Benoit's son being dead was that apparently he was found with needle marks in his arm. According to Atlanta District Attorney Scott Bullard, the boy was given human growth hormones because the family thought he was undersized. In a bizarre twist, Bullard said it appeared the wrestler choked his 7-year-old son to death late Saturday or early Sunday morning, more than a day after killing his wife. The bodies of 40-year-old wrestler, his wife, Nancy Benoit, 43, and son, Daniel, were found in 3 separate rooms at their Atlanta home on Monday. Mrs. Benoit was bound at the wrists and feet with a towel wrapped around her body and blood underneath her head. A Bible was reportedly found in each of the body. WWE staff asked police to check on Benoit after they were alerted of curious text messages he had sent to friends. In one of the messages, Benoit said that his wife and son were sick. In another message to a neighbor, Benoit said that the house door was open and that the pets were outside. Our assumption is that an effort was made to try to get somebody to come over after the suicide had happened. Toxicology tests will show whether steroids or prescription drugs, both found inside Benoit's home, could have been a factor in deaths. Steroid abuse has been linked to an angry outburst known as roid rage. Mrs. Benoit had filed for divorce and a restraining order against her husband in 2003, telling a judge she was intimidated by threats of violence. But as the investigation continues, it's Benoit's history of domestic abuse which has been brought into the spotlight. Local newspapers said that Benoit lost his temper and threatened to strike the petitioner and cause extensive damage into the home and personal belongings to the lady. 3 months later, she withdrew the papers and the judge cancelled the proceedings. Amazingly enough, Benoit met his wife on the wrestling circuit during the mid-90s. And also, in a story that just doesn't stop to surprise you, it has been revealed that she was the wife of a fellow wrestler, Kevin Sullivan. As a part of the scripted show, Benoit and Nancy acted as if they were having an affair. But a real-life romance developed, and Nancy left Sullivan for her new love. Now, in the aftermath of the killings, some friends of Benoit have been unable to accept that he would hurt his family. This was and will be one of the hardest stories I will ever have to report on. Mike McGinley, AAI News.